In the waning days of 2025, the relationship between the United States and Venezuela has reached a boiling point, marked by naval seizures, threats of military intervention, and a renewed push for regime change. On December 10, 2025, United States forces seized the oil tanker Skipper off the Venezuelan coast, an action President Donald Trump described as a strike against narcotics trafficking and the Maduro regime's illicit activities. This incident, condemned by Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro as an act of piracy, has intensified fears of a broader confrontation in the Caribbean, reminiscent of Cold War-era standoffs. As the current date stands at December 11, 2025, the situation remains fluid, with diplomatic channels severed, military assets deployed, and global powers like Russia and China aligning against United States pressure. This article explores the historical roots, current flashpoints, economic underpinnings, and potential futures of this volatile dynamic. The United States-Venezuela relationship dates back to 1835, when the United States established diplomatic ties with the newly independent nation. For much of the 20th century, ties were strong, driven by Venezuela's vast oil reserves, the largest in the world, and its role as a key supplier to American refineries. However, the election of Hugo Chavez in 1999 marked a turning point. Chavez's socialist Bolivarian revolution nationalized industries, aligned Venezuela with anti-United States powers like Cuba and Iran, and accused Washington of imperialism. Relations deteriorated further under Chavez's successor, Nicolás Maduro, who assumed power in 2013 amid allegations of electoral fraud. By 2017, the United States had imposed sweeping sanctions on Venezuelan officials and entities, citing human rights abuses, corruption, and the erosion of democracy. In 2019, the Trump administration recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as interim president, a move that isolated Maduro internationally but failed to dislodge him. The Biden years, 2021 to 2025, saw a brief thaw with partial sanctions relief in exchange for promises of fair elections. But progress stalled after Maduro's disputed 2024 victory. Trump's return to office in January 2025 reversed this détente, escalating rhetoric and actions against what he calls a narco-terrorist regime. Venezuela's foreign policy under Maduro has emphasized alliances with Russia, Iran, and China, providing military aid, debt relief, and investment in exchange for oil and geopolitical leverage. This axis of resistance to United States influence has turned Venezuela into a proxy battleground, with Russian military advisors training Venezuelan troops and Iranian tankers, supplying fuel despite sanctions. At the center of the storm is Nicolás Maduro, whose regime has been accused by the United States of leading the Cartel de los Soles, an alleged narcotics syndicate involving high-ranking Venezuelan officials. Maduro denies these claims, framing United States actions as an economic war aimed at seizing Venezuela's oil. On the opposition side, Maria Corina Machado, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize laureate, has emerged as a symbol of resistance. Machado, who fled Venezuela in disguise with United States assistance, argues that the country is already invaded by foreign actors like Russia, Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Her Nobel win and calls for a democratic hub in the Americas have bolstered United States support for regime change. President Trump has been unapologetic in his approach, vowing that Maduro's days are numbered and authorizing Central Intelligence Agency covert operations, including sabotage and psychological warfare. Trump's strategy echoes his first term, blending sanctions with military posturing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has designated Venezuelan groups like Tren de Aragua as foreign terrorist organizations, providing legal cover for expanded operations. Critics, including some in Congress, warn this risks entangling the United States in another quagmire, drawing parallels to Iraq in 2003. Venezuela's economy, once Latin America's wealthiest, has collapsed under Maduro with hyperinflation, shortages, and mass emigration. Oil, accounting for 95% of exports, is the linchpin. United States sanctions have slashed production from 2.5 million barrels per day in 2017 to under 800,000 today, forcing Maduro to rely on dark fleets, smuggling crude to China and Iran. The recent tanker seizure aims to choke these revenues, estimated at $20, 35 million daily, potentially forcing internal pressure on Maduro. Trump's administration revoked Chevron's operating license earlier in 2025, but reinstated it briefly, highlighting the tension between ideology and energy security. A free Venezuela, proponents argue, could elevate United States energy independence by reopening vast reserves to American firms. However, Maduro's allies counter that United States actions are a power grab, not a humanitarian effort aimed at controlling resources amid global oil volatility. Migration adds another layer. Over 7 million Venezuelans have fled since 2015, many to the United States, straining borders. Trump's policies, including ending humanitarian parole, have led to reverse migration, with Venezuelans returning home amid tightened asylum rules. This has fueled domestic United States debates, with Trump linking Venezuelan gangs like Tren de Aragua to immigration woes, despite intelligence agencies finding no direct Maduro links. The United States has ramped up its military presence, deploying the United States ship Gerald R. Ford carrier group to the Caribbean and conducting strikes on over 80 alleged narco boats, killing dozens. Trump declared Venezuelan airspace closed on November 29, 2025, rerouting flights and escalating risks. Maduro responded by mobilizing 4 million militia members and boasting of Russian anti-aircraft missiles. Russian General Oleg Makarevich has been spotted training Venezuelan forces, signaling Moscow's commitment to its anti-American beachhead. Analysts note this buildup, including B-52 flyovers and Central Intelligence Agency ground operations, mirrors preparations for regime change, with options ranging from blockades to targeted strikes. Venezuela's borders are tense, with armed groups and Cuban influence adding volatility. While a full invasion seems unlikely due to domestic United States opposition and global oil spikes, the risk of miscalculation is high. Russia's Putin called Maduro amid the tanker seizure, pledging support and viewing Venezuela as a counterweight to United States dominance. China, holding billions in Venezuelan debt, and Iran, whose tankers have been targeted, could retaliate economically. Cuba rallied in solidarity, decrying United States imperialism. In contrast, United States allies like Colombia have condemned Maduro, but criticized Trump's tactics as unprecedented. The crisis has broader implications. A United States-led ouster could inspire similar actions elsewhere, while failure might embolden autocrats. Maduro has offered to resign in a couple of years, but the White House demands immediate change. Venezuela's crisis has displaced millions with United States sanctions, exacerbating shortages. Human rights abuses, including arbitrary detentions, persist under Maduro. In the United States, the situation fuels debates over immigration and foreign policy, with Massachusetts lawmakers calling the tanker seizure uncharted waters. Critics argue Trump's focus diverts from domestic issues, potentially extending his influence through wartime powers. As 2025 ends, scenarios range from a negotiated exit for Maduro, possibly to Russia, like Syria's Assad, to prolonged stalemate or limited strikes. A free Venezuela could stabilize energy markets, but failure risks regional chaos. With Putin slapping Trump via support for Maduro, this could evolve into Cold War 2.0. The world watches as two hemispheres collide over oil, ideology, and power.